it's Samantha Tong again from Labrakeets Marketing. This is another of my series of videos talking to experts within or connected to marketing. So today we're talking about web design with Mona King. So Mona has been, she's got 11 years of experience in the creative industry, and you've been running your own business for 4 years, is that right?
Yeah, almost 5 years, because I started my own business in 2016.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant. Mm-hmm. So do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, sure. I went to the University for the Creative Arts to study graphic communication. And afterwards, totally, I got 11 or 12 years experience in the UK design industry. And I started my own business in 2006. Oh, no, 2016. Yeah, and it has been quite exciting.
Yeah, I imagine there've been quite a few changes over those years.
Yeah. For instance, we didn't know that thing would happen last year.
Well, yeah, that in particular, that's been probably the biggest change in our lifetimes. For anyone who's looking back at an old video, we're in the middle of lockdown due to coronavirus.
Yeah.
So Mona, have you got any, to start off with, have you got any general design tips for an effective website?
Well, because we got limited time, so I will give the audience 5 quick tips. First of all, simplicity is the key. Do not be too wordy. Try to keep the website simple. Remember, less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And number 2, you got to use photos or images on your website to keep your target audience interested, to make your website more creative as well. And number 3, the website needs to be mobile friendly, because a lot of your target audience, they may not have a desktop. They mainly browse online from their mobile phones. And number 4, you need to make sure your website covers GDPR. Yeah. And also number 5, it's better to include some testimonials on your website. Yeah, to tell people how have you helped your clients in real life. You can have a couple of testimonials or a full testimonial page. Let's see. Of course, there are many tips, but if you want to find out more details, feel welcome to speak to me.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's funny you say that. My strap line is making your complex simple, because exactly what you're saying. A lot of the time, less is more, especially if you're talking about quite a technical concept. But you don't want to splurge all the information at once at a customer, and especially like you say, it can become less engaging then, because you've got a wall of text and not enough images to kind of bring it to life. So responsive design is so important, isn't it? Even in I operate in sort of B2B environments, so a lot of my customers, my clients' customers are on a desktop, but a good 50 to 70% is actually browsing on their phone as well, partly because a lot of them are on site or not necessarily at their desks, and partly because actually a lot of people use their phone as another screen if they're doing multiple things. So that's quite sort of backs up my thinking on that one, so it's good to hear. And a lot of people, I know a lot of clients come to me having previously done their own website with Wix or GoDaddy or whatever. So what do you say about that? Why should customers go to a designer to get it designed bespoke?
Well, these platforms like Wix or Weebly, they are great, because if you have very limited budget and you just want something to kickstart with, you can design something really simple on your own. But the functions are quite limited, so if you want to achieve a certain style or effects, or if you like a more bespoke design, it's really hard to achieve by these online platforms. That's why you need a designer. And also, we are trained to do things a lot quicker than you. For instance, if you try to DIY a website, it may take you 6 months. You are not getting anywhere. But for a professional designer, it probably only takes us like a couple of months or even a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how complex it is, I imagine. Yeah. Yeah, and at the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, the quicker you can get your website up, the quicker you can start earning money, and you're better off doing what you do best to earn your money. So I think that's a good point as well. And yeah, and it can be very much more tailored to a brand.
Yeah.
And really put across what the brand, and at the end of the day, you're the expert. You can come up with ideas that most of us who haven't got a clue probably wouldn't be able to as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I love the design of my website. I love the design of my website, and I had it done bespoke before I even went to a web developer to get that absolutely spot on. And I think I really appreciate that. So I think if you can, as Mona says, you might be on a budget, but if you can, I would recommend going to a designer. Which kind of brings me on to the next thing, really. If someone's looking to, whether they're looking for their first website, or if they've already got their Wix type website and they're moving on to that next step, they need that more bespoke website with better functionality. What's the best way to go about finding a good web designer? What sort of questions should they ask? How do they look for someone?
First of all, you need to look at the portfolio first. And also, if you have time, try to have an in-depth conversation with a designer. I'm not judging anyone, but every designer has different styles. Yeah, has a different style and approach to things.
And I guess if you're talking about web design, you need to make sure that there's someone who is familiar with web design specifically, rather than just print as well, because it's quite different, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, because I do print stuff as well, so I know the differences. Yeah.
Because I know quite a few designers. I know some designers who focus purely on web, but I know a lot of designers as well who are very much print focused, and they're very different, aren't they? Although, like you, there are those who do both really well.
Yeah, thanks very much. So it only depends on what you need. So do your own research, look at a portfolio, and have a conversation with the designers before you make a decision. That's my tip. Yeah.
And presumably you want a designer who's got their qualifications and experience as well, rather than because it's not protected, is it? Anyone can set themselves up and call themselves a graphic designer. They haven't actually necessarily had all the training to do it.
And also another tip, because I noticed that quite a few people, they started their own web design services during the pandemic because everything is online. And they may not have the skills and the experience themselves, so they got to subcontract everything. I'm not judging, there's nothing wrong with subcontracting, but it can be dragging on for quite a while. Because when you speak to that person, he or she may not have the skill or knowledge. So they have to speak to their subcontractor and get back to you. Yeah, can be quite frustrating sometimes.
Yes. A lot of web developers aren't necessarily designers either, but they might give it a go. Whereas I think they're kind of there's some people that can do both, but they're very quite different skill sets, I'd say. So do you build websites yourself, or are you very much purely on the design?
Well, I built the website myself because I mainly use a platform called WordPress. WordPress is very powerful. There are loads of plugins and builders there, which allow the designers to build and design the websites. But I would like to say, because in a lot of times I need to collaborate with the web developers. Because like you
Yeah.
mentioned, we got very different skill sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's funnily enough exactly how I had my website done. I went with a designer,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm very lucky. My other half is a web developer, so I got him to actually make it come alive.
Yeah.
So good to hear that.
Yeah.
So, are there any sort of things people need to think of in terms of, because I was speaking to another graphic designer more about the print side really, and graphic design in general in one of these interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about the latest trends in terms of branding, etc.
Yeah.
And there's sort of trends to make a website look really fresh that people need to think about at the moment if they're getting a new website currently. We're 2021, just in case anyone's looking at this in 10 years time, might be out of date. But for now, what are the trends in 2021?
Well, I think video is definitely the trend for the future. You can implement some video backgrounds on your website, or you can just simply put your own video selfie or your company promotional video on the website.
And you recommend hosting that actually on the website itself? Because I know quite a few people share it on social media, but haven't really thought about putting it on the website.
I think you can do both, yeah.
Yeah.
It's better to do both, yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
also,
completely agree with that. And that helps with SEO as well, doesn't it? If there's,
sure.
Yeah.
It's for the videos you can put in the keywords and the descriptions. So the videos or images, they can all generate more content for the search engine or Google, so help you to be found.
Excellent. It's one a really important factor to think about, I think, is it's no point having an all-seeing, dancing website if no one can find it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And do you have any tips as well on how to, we talked a little bit about social media. Do you have any other tips about getting the links out there once you've got a website built in order to be found on Google?
I like to say, because in order to be found on Google, it takes time as well.
Yeah,
you can
true.
build things up organically. So put your content on social media.
Yeah, and I guess directories and that kind of thing as well, and Google My Business and things like that. It's
yeah.
And yeah, that's a really good point. Don't expect to. I remember the first networking meeting I've gone to. My website had gone live literally in half an hour before. I was giving out my business card, and I had just told this guy that I was talking to, my website literally it's just gone live, and he tried googling it. I can't find it. I'm like, it went live half an hour ago. Google hasn't found it yet. And over time, I launched my business July 2019. Over time, I've gone up the ranks, but it doesn't happen overnight, does it? So that's something to bear in mind. The design is really important, but it can't work miracles. No one can.
No.
Okay, so is there anything else people should think about in terms of how to brief a designer? How do you like to work with clients? Is there are there certain things people need to think about before they even speak to you?
Well, I would like to say the simplest thing is to look at other examples. For instance, if you need a website for your marketing agency, you'll probably look at the website of other marketing agency so you have an idea. And then I got a questionnaire for the client, yeah, to fill out. But that questionnaire can be a bit techy for the amateurs. So if you are struggling to fill out that questionnaire on your own, I can be on the phone with you for 15 or 10 minutes just to go through things with you. Yeah.
Right, okay, so you've already got that in your process to make sure that people are thinking about the right things.
Yeah. But if you don't really know what you are after, then I can do a very quick research on your industry and give you a bit suggestions. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess that brings us back a little bit to choosing a designer. You want a designer who thinks about that. So if you're having that in-depth discussion, are they asking you questions as well as the other way
Yeah, sure.
around?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you got any other general things that you'd like to say about web design and what both marketers like me and maybe other people who are just running their own business just need to think about in general?
Because I have spoken to other people in the creative or marketing sectors, a lot of us are not doing as well as we expected during the pandemic. Because I mean, when the economy is not great, companies usually cut down their funding for design and marketing first. But everything is online now, so you need to be seen by your target audience online, because you are no longer in your local market. Potentially, you are in the national market or global markets. So you really need to think about how to improve and sharpen your online presence and branding to attract your target audience online. Of course, I know it's a very tough time, but marketing and design is very important in this difficult time because you need to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it always amazes me that the companies do a lot of really big international brands as well do that. The first thing they do is cut marketing and then wonder why it takes so much longer to get back once it's over. And yet every time research shows the ones that invest in marketing do a lot better, not just during a recession but afterwards as well. They recover much more quickly. So yeah, I agree completely. And as you say, right now, because of the nature of the downturn, it's so important to make sure that online presence, that you've got the technology to continue selling your products, your services, etc. Really important to invest in online. And it's pretty good timing that we're having this interview, because and hopefully this is still available when you see this. There's the Scottish government up here have launched something, a grant, a digital boost grant, which most small to medium businesses qualify for, where they can invest in a new website, for example, a new digital strategy that will really help them reach that market. So if you're in Scotland and you're seeing this, this is January 2021. If it's still 2021, when you see this, you're probably okay. Have a look at that. Google the Scottish Government Digital Boost Grant and have a look into that, because that will help you use the services of an expert such as Mona to get that really good website and get that technology in place to continue selling. So yeah, good timing that you mentioned that, Mona. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything like that in England at the moment, but that's available in Scotland.
I think not yet, but I will look. I'll have a look, because it's too late for me to move to Scotland now.
Yes, but if you've got any clients in Scotland, maybe that's a good selling point for you.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's really good. So I've got some clients taking advantage of that one. So that's really brilliant. Some really great information there. I don't know if you want to I don't know if you have anything that you want to show as examples or anything.
No, I'm
No,
fine.
okay, that's fine. If you're interested, go have. I will put Mona's links in wherever I share this online, on my website and on any social media where this goes out. I will put Mona's details so you can have a look at her portfolio, which may give you some ideas. And like Mona says, have a look at competitors, what they're doing, what you could probably do better, and speak to someone like Mona who asks the right questions.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So brilliant. Thank you very much, Mona.
Thanks
And
very
thank you
much.
everyone who's watching.
Thanks. See you at the event soon.